here. We got 2.5 minutes to this candle closes. So here's the deal with if you're trying to go short at all. If you're trying to go short, this is the spot where I like going short for QQQ puts and Q shorts. If you're going to go short, just a 15-point stop right above this level. So you'd be stopping out. Entry would be here at 30. You'd be stopping out at 45. Okay, nothing crazy. Now, we're banking on the fact that it's going to hold below this point of control that's formed in the pre-market. The volume is good. We are not going to have bad volume. The volume is very high. The issue is it's doing similar to what price was doing yesterday, and it's having a hard time gravitating towards it. I'm looking to see if this can flush further. These 632 puts are not moving that well. I'm only about 10% profit here. I need to see a little more. There, 235 a contract. That's why I'm taking that first trim on QQQ. Oh, AMD. AMD still looks absolutely beautiful. I can't imagine how high this is going to go today. This is just ripping. This thing has a lot of room. Let me draw this out. Taking one trim on this trade. You can have your stop loss at entry. If you're going to leave the original stop loss, it's right there. All right, I'll leave that there just in case anyone's going to hold to their original stop. All right, I'll leave it there. But ideally, what I'm wanting to see is this thing to actually push down to 65 points. We've hit roughly 30 points. Or no, hold on. 27 points, it looks like 25. I want to see this hit 65 points. You can still wait for the 5-minute candle close if you're nervous about it, okay? There we go. All right. It's moving well here. Now, this should put you back in the green. This right here should put you back in the green from that little loss we took earlier. This should put you back in the green. So if you can sell for green, go ahead. Leave that up to you. I want to see this thing keep pushing. Seen a peak so far about 40% or 45 points profit. That's the peak here. Again, with a 15% stop loss from earlier, that would put you back in the green right now. That would put you heavy in the green. Absolutely beautiful here. There it is. Boom. Here's the second trim. So let's take our second trim right here, everybody. Second trim has been made. All right, right around 55% profit here, guys. 60 points profit on NQ, QQQ. Didn't draw it over here, of course. Again, this was based on that point of control. That's why I rushed to show you the point of control so you can see what I'm targeting. The next 4-hour level, please be 100 points. Oh, way more. 111 points. It's that next 4-hour level. Down here, 26,015. That's what we're targeting next. I do expect to pull back. I do expect to pull back. So if you want to remove some more of your position, I wouldn't blame you. Oh, poor Meta, dude. What happened to Meta here? Had that beautiful rip, and then it just completely reversed. Tesla broke out to that 440 level, but then it completely dumped from 440 as well. But it's dumping with the market here. The market's pulling us down. We'll help pull the single tickers down. Sorry, I'm trying to keep this volume footprint up for you guys so you can watch it play out. All righty. Okay. I'm taking my second trim here. This is I'm sorry, third trim. $3.45 a contract. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Give us 100. This is 100 points. That's it right there, guys. That's 100 points profit. 106 points. Good job. All right. Obviously, you're heavy green, even with the loss from earlier. It doesn't really matter whatsoever. But what we want to think about at this moment in time, the market is clearly not going to come back up and retest this level. It's just not. If it comes back up here, it's more than likely going to end up actually flying to the upside. So at this point in time, if you're not in the short trade with us, basically all you can think about is looking at another 4-hour level for a retest, but this currently is over 100. This is 120 points profit here currently. It's about to, sorry, I got to move my tick profit really fast. All right. A majority out of the position. I've sold 90% of my position. I have 10% of my position left for runners. That is it. That's what I'm going to let rock and roll at this point. Everything's starting to get really weak here. What I was going to say is you can look for, oh, that point of control just completely shifted. You guys see that? It was up here at 631. It just came down to 630.20, which could be showing, could be showing signs of a possible bounce. Man, Tesla's completely giving it up here. All right. At this point, we kind of have to watch for pullbacks into my key levels for you to get an entry. If you're not in shorts, you kind of going to have to watch for this to play out here. Everything is getting pretty weak. Tesla's pretty weak. Tesla is at a key support level, so that's awesome. But it looks like it wants to snap right through this level. That's the unfortunate part right now. AMD would have stopped you at entry. Is what it is on that, but that was a completely nuclear trade. Market looks like it wants to keep dumping here. Meta keeps giving it up. NVIDIA is giving it up. MU is bouncing here. MU has found some support at its pre-market low, trying to hold. Oh, yeah. That's why I said if you're going to go short, this is the spot to go short. It couldn't have been more clear, Jordan. That couldn't have been more clear. I said if you're going to go short, this is the spot to go short. Don't play victim, guys. Take the trade or don't. Okay, I would expect some type of a bounce here. It's moving well. That point of control. You see that point of control shift? I redact that statement. The fact that it came up and slapped it like that and it's completely rejecting means this is more than likely going to continue to sell. That's crazy. Just flipped its volume so quickly. And Tesla's going to keep going here too. This is about 20% from where I called out Tesla, just where I said it's probably going to, if it's going to break that support level. Just that little move. That's 20% profit. It's incredible. All right, here's the new range that's formed on QQQ and Q. I'm thinking it's going to find some type of support in this range. Then I would look for a bounce into that previous candle's low. So 26,083 or this key level right here, 631.40. That's really all I can see for a retest entry. That's all I can see. It's a good mindset to adopt because obviously I'm not perfect. There might be times where my call out might be a little bit different, but you guys know for the most part, I'm pretty accurate with the call outs. So if you don't feel 100% confident and you don't want to take it, that's okay. But don't come in the chat room saying, if I had known this one more detail. The reason I was cautioning some of you, because some of you guys can't handle 2 losses back to back. Some of you guys cannot handle it. That's why I need to be cautious with those call outs, because if I go QQQ calls get stopped out, all right, it's flapped below the point of control. Now I like QQQ puts. And then you take a loss on that too, you will lose your mind. You will want to quit. That day is the day you're going to want to quit. You're going to say it's gambling, the whole 9. So you either, that's why I hustled to get this volume footprint up to show you what was my thesis. To show you why we took the call trade. because I didn't want you guys to think, what the hell? We just took this call trade and we got stopped out instantly, because we basically did. But that's what I prefer. I prefer stop losses where we get stopped out instantly. This is 150 points, but I'm going to wait a little bit longer to trim. Okay. I'm waiting a little bit longer. This is $4.15 a contract. No, I'm going to trim here. Actually. This is 100% for me. So. It's 100% on QQQ, but this is 150 points on NQ right here. 150 points profit. So that's my fourth trim on NQ. I have 5% of my position remaining. I'm a little bit worried about MU because I'm relying heavily on market divergence for MU to work. So I'm definitely going to skip on MU on this push up. The divergence is great. On MU, but I would skip it. There's no way, unless maybe if I made this skinny. That's not really making a difference, is it? Trying to get it to follow this. All right, so guys, kind of like what I was saying earlier, basically all you're waiting for is pullbacks into point of controls, and you can try to give it a shot to re-enter into shorts. But that's what the point of controls are for. That's how I got into this second trade. Okay. Sorry, I was in the middle of going over that. The whole reason we took the call trade to the upside. Oh God, I'm going to have to trim again. All right. Let me just trim one more time here, and then I'm going to sell a quarter of this half I got left. Okay, $4.67 a contract on that trim. This is 182 points profit right here. Oh, crap. 182 points profit. This is a 4-hour level, so I would expect a little bit of a bounce here. If it flushes straight through this, I truly got nothing. But, all right, to those of you that didn't take this, or to those of you that did take it but you didn't know why you were taking it, again, the whole reason for this trade, which is what I was saying as I was calling out the entry, was this is based on the failure of the point of control and a hold below the point of control. That was the whole reason for this trade, a hold below the point of control. I want to look for that entry. Again, some of you were probably scared out of your mind to take this trade because you just took a loss based on this level. So it pushed up, entered for calls somewhere up here, boom, gets that loss. It is what it is. And then for me, I have to immediately move on from that and look at it and go, hey, look, this setup now is showing me complete weakness. The fact that it sold off so quickly from our entry, orders hit the tapes, look beautiful, orders immediately get absorbed, starts to dump to the downside. And then you see this holds below the point of control, AKA basis for the entry. And that's where I said, hey, if you're wanting to take short, this is the spot to go short. Otherwise, you can wait for the 5-minute candle to close. If you're not a fan of those quick trades, if you're not a fan of basically the possibility of being stopped down and done for the day in the first 5 minutes, because some people are not. Some people, they don't like that whatsoever. So totally understandable. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. There's nothing wrong with that. I want you guys to know this is aggressive trading, but obviously you see the rewards from aggressive trading. I mean, I'm up 125% profits. 125% profit. Yes, there was a stop loss there. Yes, that is a stop loss. However, I want you to think from the net ROI perspective. From the net ROI perspective, if I take a 15% stop loss in a full-size position, right now, at this moment in time, if this trade was to come back to entry and stop me out, my net ROI, hold on. I'm going to have to calculate this really fast. I want you to know this because it's real information that would actually help you. All right. So this is roughly 155% profit currently. My net ROI at this moment in time is 83% as my net ROI. So if I take a 15% stop loss and then I get in a trade like this, 83% is my net ROI. That's 15, 30, 45, 60, 75. So I've made back 5 times the losses. 5 times the losses. So for those of you that might get a little skittish when you see a setup like this, like, hey, we're taking a bounce of a point of control. We're taking a bounce to the upside because I'm seeing, buying pressure coming in, orders hitting the ask. I like the setup. Boom, I take that entry. And then you see an immediate rejection, and now you're failing below that point of control. And in your head, you're naturally so, your brain is like, danger, danger. You're doing very risky things here. You just took a loss and you're literally about to re-enter into the complete opposite direction. Yes, that can be seen as danger. That can be seen as risky by many traders. However, for me, that the way I'm watching volume and order flow move, all I'm seeing is a failure of a key volume level. Picture watching traffic shift. Picture you're watching a highway. You're looking at the highway picture. I'm looking at the highway. Everyone's going up. Everyone's going straight in front of me. They're going this way. I'm seeing people's red lights. They're going that way. And then picture I blink for a second, and then now everyone's coming this way. They're going the complete opposite direction. That's how I watched order flow change just there. So that's where I have to look from that perspective and go, yes, to someone who doesn't know how to read order flow, that is gambling and that is risky. But to me, it's like, I got to give this a shot. It's clearly showing me complete divergence. So glad I skipped on MU. MU ended up being wonderful. Come on, James. 443 is a key level on MU. But I mean, this strength that's been happening every day, I truly think this will just keep pushing. Market's bouncing aggressively here with NVIDIA. Check out NVIDIA bouncing the pre-market low and my 190.5 level on NVIDIA. It has reached its pre-market high. Here's my opinion. This is that retest area I was talking about earlier. If we can retest this range, it should continue to sell right here where it's at. It should continue to sell from this moment. If it breaks above this whatsoever, I think it's going to cut this trade, because that means NVIDIA is more than likely going to push and make some new highs. Look at SPY. SPY is bouncing previous day low and my level of 692.96. So to me, this is the kind of the last line of defense on this trade currently. I do have my stop losses in profit. Very well said, Samantha. You're following your rules. That's what I want you guys to do. You guys have watched me follow my rules and miss really good trades because of it. I think I will always stand by following your rules. All right, here's that retest. You see how it's starting to reject here? Point of control is formed at this range up here on the previous candle. We also have that previous candle's low combined with some key levels right here. Again, this is the only thing that can make this trade continue to sell. This zone is the only thing that can keep us down. I do think this is where I would trim. I would take your first trim here. That's from 26,009 to 97,000. That's about 30 points. Am I doing my math wrong there? 8. I don't know if I'm, whatever. Trim, right? It's obviously in profit. It's obviously in profit right here. By the way, for anyone that's new, trim means sell some of your position. That's what trim means. So this would mean scaling out. If it was me and I just entered this trade with 10 MNQ, I hadn't taken anything yet, I would have sold 7 on this push down. I would have sold seven of them, because you just have to keep in mind, we keep tapping this key level, this 4-hour key level. So there's a good high probability we keep bouncing this level. And that could be your confirmation again for almost another a separate trade. But also, if we can break below that, some good continuation. You see also the point of control is shifted down there, right? Kind of near that 4-hour level. So we have to bust through this point of control with extreme selling pressure. You need extreme selling pressure to get through this point of control. Boom. That's what you want to see. Now we need to see it flush this 4-hour key level. If you can flush this 4-hour key level, that's what's going to set up real nice for a true, actual continuation. How would you trim 5 contracts? If you bought 10 MNQ, go to the very top. It says 10, type in the number 5, and then hit buy market. Because, and this is for futures. This is on Trade-O-Vate. If you're on Trade-O-Vate. Are you on Trade-O-Vate? I would have trimmed 7 personally, just because of that 4-hour key level. Out of 10 contracts, I would have sold 7. I would have 3 runners left. I would save 1 runner for this level, 25,922. I would sell another one down there. And then those last 2, I would try to push them out to 100 points. One of them. Try to push one of them to 100 points. Because that way you can sell one at 100 points profit. And then that last contract you got, you can move a trailing stop loss at 50 points in profit, and then see if you can kind of be in the trade like we are, right? 200 points, something profit. Because right now this is 220 points, 219 points profit. But This is a beautiful trade so far. Whether you're in it or not, the fact that you were here watching it play out, watch it happen live, that was really, really good. Honestly, I'm not glad we took a loss, but I'm glad you guys were able to see like a quick reversal of a thesis setup. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was still trying to go short if we stayed below 156. But to me, the fact that it started to get back below this point of control and QQQ pre-market low, that to me was like, hey, this thing does want to sell. It's just having a hard time getting out of the range. But you know, obviously it was a little tricky because I got faked out. I saw good orders coming in. I liked the call trade. I liked it a lot. So all right, right back to that new low. So you can trim again for anyone that got in on the retest right here that I called out. Again, that's very similar to the way I called out the first this short trade. I'm just going to put third or second re-entry call out, so you guys are aware. So we timed that peak perfectly. All right. Does anyone have I just want to clarify this. Does anyone, again, you should have trimmed again. All right. Like for those that weren't in the original trade, if you got in up here on this retest, you should have trimmed down here. That's a really solid trade. 26,009. Oh, it's 100 points. You got 100 points for y'all's trade too. There you go. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I didn't realize that was 100 points that fast. Well, this is where I would have one runner left. If I had 10 MNQ, I would have one runner left. I would have stops at 50 points in profit. So unfortunately, that's almost where it's at right now. That kind of means right here is your stop loss in profit with that last runner. If you got in on the break and retest, this would be your trailing stop in profit. Would be 25,954, which is nice because then you're relying on this 4-hour key level to protect you. That's what you're relying on. So if it does come back above this, it could very well bounce aggressively, and you'll be very happy you took a stop loss in profit. So, but ideally, we should candle close below this. If this trade is going to give us any more, we got to hold below this 4-hour level. I think if we come back up above, I think it's going to start to consolidate and or it will start to bounce. What do I have on the TV? Bloomberg terminal. I just want to have as much data at my disposal as possible. And it's nice just to hear it going on in the background, so I don't need to be looking at it necessarily. There's a little more buyers coming in here than I would like. Doesn't look good for us holding this trade. And here's the thing. The heavier in profit you are, I get it. It can feel relatively stress-free. You're like, oh, I'm 200 points in profit, or I'm 170% profit. Like, I don't care. But you got to remember, you're giving back open P&L at the end of the day. So you definitely want to be cautious when it comes to how much open P&L you want to give back. There goes Tesla, man. What a shame for the market, right? Beautiful, beautiful earnings. I mean, really, really good news that was delivered last night. And you're just giving it up. We're giving it up. What a shame. Dylan Trudeau. You're either in the trade or you're not. It's not like you should be adding to trades. You know what I mean? But I recommend you go watch some of the education, man. It sounds like you're pretty, like, very, very new. I would watch some of the education videos just to, you know, catch yourself up on some trading concepts. Again, it's all here in the community. Like it's part of your subscription. You don't pay extra for it. But where it says education courses, I would click that. I would go through some of that. Also under the Valor live trading tab, like when you click Valor live trading, it says live trading Zoom link here, start. And it says how it works. And I go over how everything works. So that way you can see, you can get the gist before you join. All right, right back to these lows again. So we ended up holding that 4-hour level. You guys see that? Same concept we just saw there. Again, sorry, I didn't get to ask that question really. Does everyone have a clear understanding? If you have questions, I want you to ask them right now. Please use my knowledge to the best of your ability. Use my knowledge, okay? Right now, especially if there's some of those people that they're going to be leaving soon. You need to ask these questions. Use me before you leave. I don't care if you canceled. Use me before you leave. I need to know. I need to know if you have questions. I want to help you. I want to answer you. Is everyone aware of why I liked this trade, why I called it out? Is everyone aware of why I liked this trade, the short right here, why I called it out? And is everyone aware of why just now I was saying we just have to hold below this 4-hour level? If we can hold below this, we should continue selling. Are there any questions on any of that? No such thing as a stupid question. Shoot it my way. Next 4-hour levels right here. This is 240 points profit. Michael, I'm not worried about MU. I moved on. It's too choppy. Hindsight, Michael, I get it. Hindsight, it looks really pretty with my levels, but that's because it's hindsight. I liked it for a market open breakout. That's what I liked it for. Yeah, no, I get it. I just, it's getting a little tricky. The rest of the market, everything's getting a little tricky, right? Like pretty much everything to me besides Tesla's weakness, NQ's weakness, everything else looks a little bit tricky in my opinion. Nope, no filters in time and sales. Okay, yeah. I'll do all of them, Brandy. So again, first entry, which is all of these I said out loud. Okay. So I'm just going to repeat what I said out loud. First entry, what I liked was, yes, we got stopped out. However, I do like how we're holding below the point of control. So if you're going to go short, this is the spot to go short, i.e. if you're going to take puts, go for puts, right? If you're going to go short, this is the spot to go short because we held the support level at the open. We held the support level. We bounced. You see massive buying pressure. I see orders coming in at the ask. I like the entry. Boom. I'm in those calls. I get stopped out. Okay. Now that we've come back below it, not only have I've confirmed that that's a nasty rejection level. I've confirmed that. We rejected that extremely well. You can see it on volume footprint. You can see it on the tape after the fact, and you see it starting to dump. Hold on. I'm going to have to trim again here. All right, I'm taking one more trim. I missed it. $7.20 a contract. God. 741. Okay, 740 a contract on this trim right here. I just trimmed again. This is really, I'm going to leave this one up because this is just dumping, guys. This is massive. We're at 336 points profit. This is a massive trade. This is no joke. If you got in on the retest, that's what, 200 points? I'm just going to draw a separate box because I don't know the math there. There's really no excuse if you didn't get in on this retest, unless you're following your rules. But I don't want to hear anybody being afraid of taking that retest trade there. That retest trade was textbook, and it was very slow. As I was saying it, price was not moving. It was just hovering there. So, but that's 212 points from the retest for anyone that got in on the retest. Okay, so once we slip below this level, all I'm thinking about is, okay, now we form this massive, absolutely massive resistance level above us, and we're floating right here. So now in my head, I'm telling myself, well, look, like, yeah, obviously I can get stopped out right away and it could just flip back into the range. To people that don't know how to read volume, I'm going to look stupid, but I don't care because I'm just trying to make money at the end of the day. And I'm sitting here going, this looks weak. It wants to hold below the level. I have to give this a shot. Why also is this good to give it a shot? Because if it's going to sell through this is a pretty big gap, pretty big level we formed. And that's a pretty big key level. And if some of these stocks that have earnings start to give stuff up too, the market can just completely dump, right? It's happened before. I didn't want it to happen, but it's happened before where we have big earnings and they give them up. And when they give them up, the market follows suit, which is what you're seeing. All right. So that was the basis mainly though for the first trade was a hold below that point of control, a hold below QQQ pre-market low. And then you see it start to sell through. All right. Now, the second one, the one I called out, that was right here, which again, that's the one that's about 200 points profit currently. If you guys remember, I said it here. I said, all right, well, kind of all we can look for is maybe a pullback to that previous candle's wicks low, right? Because that's what did it do? It bounced at my level. So I'm telling myself like, well, that previous candle bounced there for a reason. So I can use that for retest. Well, we never got there. Okay, next candle starts to dump. All right. Can't really do anything about this either. Can't really chase it. Boom. Now you finally get that pullback. Okay, what did I like about this pullback? What I liked about this pullback was on this pullback, we have a point of control to use. Beautiful. All right, I have this point of control. Now I also have a key level to use, 629.69 and or 26,015. Beautiful. Okay, what else do I have to use? I have the previous candle forming its low. The bottom of that wick formed at that level as well. Beautiful. So I have three areas of interest in this one zone that can help keep me below this level. Now, all I have to do is give it a shot. It's not a matter of let's watch it come up, and then if it starts to reject and sells off for 30 points, then I enter. That would have worked, obviously. Like this trade has given you a lot of grace. It's given anyone grace. I mean, you could have chased this pretty much at any point besides this area, and you would have been fine. But 860 a contract. But that was mainly what I loved about this. Mainly what I loved about this was the fact that it held that zone. You see that instant rejection. It starts to move beautifully, and then boom, you're taking your contracts. At this point, you're probably out of contracts, right? You're probably ran out of contracts to trim. You're probably out of contracts at this point. Totally fine. It's pretty unrealistic to be holding past this point unless you have a lot of contracts like I do to play with. But if you don't have a lot of contracts like I do, completely normal. If I had 10 contracts, I would be out of this trade by now. I would have taken full profit by now for sure. But this has been an astronomical trade. This is 400% profit on QQQ, guys. I'm going to go ahead and mark this out now. So these contracts have gained a lot of value. So it's 375 points down here at the bottom. Oh my gosh. 375 points. It's incredible. I have 25 contracts left now. We're at 375 points profit. We're at 400% profit on QQQ. Absolutely beautiful. This couldn't have been more a bigger day. And what did I say? What was I telling you guys this whole week? Can anyone actually answer that? What have I been telling you guys this whole week about what the market would do, sizing up, taking these big trades, taking some good trades, trying to hold trades longer? Yes. After FOMC, Thursday, Friday, we should expect big moves. And what did we get today, guys? What did we get? We got the big moves today. That's exactly, we could have played this better. We could have not taken the loss at the open. But obviously at this point, at watching this trade play out, it's a moot point now because you probably completely forgot about it by now. So I have a question now. If this pertains to you, I want you to do the emoji, like it's a heart or a thumbs up or the face, whatever on the Zoom call. If you didn't enter on the first short, okay, or if you didn't enter on the second short call out, one of these, if you didn't enter on those. All right. Now, the people that just answered that emoji, what I want you to do is go write in your journal right now, because you're probably not in a trade even now. You probably didn't even take the 4-hour level little hold we were talking about right here. It was the same concept as this, really. It was the same thing. Go put in your journal right now. Put in your journal the real reason why you didn't enter that trade. No one else sees your journal but you, so don't lie on your journal. No one else sees that but you. It's not like you're going to post it on social media. Write in your journal right now. Be brutally honest with yourself. Why did you not enter the trade? Let's say the first trade, this first one up here, you're a little bit worried. You're like, look, I just took a loss. I wasn't really sure market direction. I wanted to wait. Cool. Understandable. Okay. Markets pick the direction. You have the direction now. It's clearly weak. You also see big names that just had massive overnight moves getting very weak. I mean, Meta with a $30 drop, that's no joke, right? So when you see Meta has already done a $20 drop and you're sitting here going like, whoo, hey, this is the pullback. Like I said, I was this whole time, I was like, oh, FOMO. Oh my gosh, I'm missing the short. And then you finally get it to come back up and you get a spot. Now, this is where you need to be brutally honest with yourself. In my opinion, anyone that was, if you've been trading, I would say for more than 6 months, because before 6 months, to me, it's difficult. You don't really know what you're doing. Everything seems very fast. Everything seems confusing. Everything seems difficult. After 6 months, things really start to make a lot of sense to you. So, hold on. My kids are screaming. It's just normal 3-year-old screams, I guess. Sorry. All right. So the main thing I would ask myself is if I'm a trader that knows what I'm doing. It doesn't mean you're green. It doesn't mean you're profitable. That's going to take a while. But if I'm a trader that knows what I'm doing, why was I not comfortable entering on this? Okay. If you want to use, because again, if you wanted to blame me, I don't like it when people do that. But if you want to place your blame on me for not entering the shorts, when I said, if you like it, take it. If you want to place the blame on me, that's fine. I'll take your blame. But here, this is where you need to start accepting responsibility for why you didn't want to enter this trade. Because accepting responsibility for skipping on good trades, that's the best way to start taking these things. That's the best way to get over whatever it is, whether it's fear, whether it's indecision, whether it's straight up like, I just didn't like it, whatever. But then you end up seeing it working out and then now you do like it, right? You have to ask yourself at some point, what did I need to see in order to be successful here? What did I need to see in order to get into this trade? For me, what I would look at in this situation is, okay, what I need to see in order to get into the short whatsoever is some type of pullback, right? I don't want to just, unfortunately, that's just, for me, it doesn't work. I don't want to just take a breakout of a trade that's already broken out. I'm not the biggest fan of that. I'm worried about things like MU, right? Good pass on that, right, Michael? I'm worried about things like MU. I'm worried about trying to attempt to break out at the high, and then that thing just dumps, and I'm the liquidity. I'm the sucker that gave my money back to the market. I don't want to be that person. So I'd rather always wait for a pullback, quote unquote, break and retest. That's why we go over that strategy. I'd always rather wait for that break and retest. So when you finally get the break and retest, you get the guidance from me, if that's what you want to call it. Hey, holding this level is exactly what we need to hold in order for this to continue to sell through. This is the exact level, the exact spot. You have the point of control. You have a key level. We just have to hold below this bottom wick and we'll be fine. So in a sense, it's like, man, I got like 10 points of room here. Like that's a tight stop. Some people that scares them, but people that this starts to make sense to. One of my one-on-one students yesterday, he was like, dude, I'm just now starting to see how effective a 15-point stop is, because that's all I need to show if I'm right or wrong. Because anything more than that, I'm just giving back way more money. And it's the perfect sweet spot. So to me, what's so appealing about this is the stop loss is so small. It's almost like, even if you were red on the first trade, you skip the second one, and now you're like, well, do I want to be double red? The answer probably is yes, because you showed up this morning telling yourself, I'm prepared to take 2 stop losses. That's what we tell ourselves every single morning we show up to the stock market. I'm prepared to take 2 stop losses. That's the whole point. I'm risking X amount of money to make Y amount of money to eventually be successful and live the Z lifestyle, right? Provide for my family, go on vacations, buy nice stuff, whatever your passions are for trading. Okay, that's the whole point. We show up, we place the risk pays off, boom. You do it day in and day out. The system has a high win rate. The system has a high risk to reward, profitability, right? You don't trade a system. You don't have a high reward. You have a low win rate, boom, lose money. They're completely inverse of each other. All you have to do is follow a system, follow your rules, follow your game plans, which also includes executing where you plan to execute at. And then from there, let it work, let it take off, let it do its thing. And based on this whole week, what I was talking about with trading defensively versus offensively, this week is a perfect representation of, I saw Monday, you guys had, I mean, the price action looked okay, but also like, I'm sure some of you could have got wicked out on Monday, right? Because it dumped and then it took off, or it took off, dumped, and then took off. So Monday could have been a little hard trading on your own. But that's something I want you guys to keep in mind, that we traded defensively Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, anticipating smaller moves, smaller price action. And we opened up today expecting bigger price action. So increasing the position size, letting some of these trades run longer, right? It's not like I sold 90% of my position on that first trim. I only sold a quarter. Let that thing keep rocking. Let it keep pushing. Yeah, this is absurd. So just also for some sizing examples as well, right? Remember yesterday I told you guys I made about $40,000 yesterday with those two smaller trades. You guys remember that? For anyone that was here on the live, I did not take this last trade, this last one personally. I wasn't in this. I was traded out already at that point, so I wasn't able to take this third trade. An example of following my rules and not realizing big rewards, right? Options, not like you probably wouldn't have been able to hold through that. I saw some people held through that, but they were breaking their rules, so they shouldn't have held through that. But for futures, obviously you could have. It ended up paying out nice, but even if you didn't, right, still a decent trade, 135 points. But yesterday, right, 40 grand, right? And I was looking for those small profits, majority exits, things like that. Now, looking at today, okay, with today's price action, just increasing the position size, nothing crazy. It's not like I went 10 times the position size. Increasing my position size by 3 times the amount and letting my trades play out. Currently, realized P&L is $517,000. $500,000 just from 3 trades. From 3 trades. That's the difference from trading defensively versus offensively. Looking at this from a scenario of this is now going to be pushing up to, oh my gosh, almost 500% profit here now. I mean, you're almost 5 times your original capital. Obviously, if you held the whole thing, you wouldn't have held the whole thing. That's unrealistic. But I mean, this is just absurd at this point. It's just absurd. And we're just going to let this thing keep selling, right? It's 440% profit here, roughly. And I'm just going to let this thing go as far as it can go. I'll keep trailing the stop loss by roughly 150%. And I'm just going to let this thing keep selling as much as it'll keep selling. Unfortunately, the more this sells, because right now this is 410 points on NQ for 450% profit right here. It's crazy. This is just crazy at this point. Doesn't make any sense. I can't really do anything besides just watch the sell at this point. There's really no more reentries I can give you. Obviously, you can try to use key levels, but it's so overextended at this point. It's so sold off. I'm just waiting for a super aggressive bounce to stop me out at this point. I mean, it looks crazy. Oh, man. Is that 500 points right there, I think? Almost, guys. Look at that. Is that? Oh my gosh, we're right there. 499.5 points. We just need a little bit more because this is an order block. So I'm expecting a little bit of a pullback, a little bit of a bounce from this area. Come on, give them 500. That would be so awesome to see. Yes, we might have another government shutdown, Megan. That's very true. It's bouncing this order block. Come on. I want to see 500 points, everybody. That would be incredible. Again, anyone that's new, anytime you see a green rectangular zone on my chart, that is an order block, which means that there's a high area of volume. So if you looked at a volume session profile, it would be price was doing whatever, but normal volume, normal, normal, normal. Order block means volume went way out here. There's a lot of volume in that area. If you don't know what volume session profile looks like, I'll show you really fast. All right. So that's volume session profile. So areas where there's high volume. See how I put support area? where my support area is. You see how there's a bunch of volume there currently? That's because there's a lot of price trading at that level. There's a lot of buyers or sellers, whatever you want to call them, at that area. So that's what volume session profile is. You can use that in conjunction with your levels to determine if they're real levels or not. But hey, that makes sense, right? Because what happened to that level? What happened right there? Market bounced rather aggressively, came back through, came back up just to reject again at that support area, right? So come on. There it is. 500 points, guys. That is insane. Wow. Oh, my back. Oh, my gosh. This is incredible. Wow. It's a shame for the stock market right now, but that's really cool. 500 points. 1160 a contract here. I have nothing after this. I mean, this is just ridiculous. At this point, you're really just, I doubt any of you have any contracts left. I could probably bet $1,000 that there's no one here in this trade still, because it's just, you would have needed like over 100 contracts to stay in this, but it is cool to see it continue selling through. That's for sure. All right, let me make sure I went over all these questions. I'll go ahead and head out. How much money do you need to trade with to make 6 figures a day? I would say you probably need to risk about 30 grand. Making over $100,000 a day, I would say realistically, you should be willing to lose $30,000 that day. So it's difficult. It's difficult. It's not easy, right? Because think about it. If I enter into a trade with $100,000 position size, that would be a $15,000 stop loss. If I take 2 losses, that would be $30,000 negative. But if those trades start to work, yeah, I could make over 100 grand. I have had many trades with net ROI is over 100%, meaning I doubled my money. Okay, I would say after about 230% profit, around that realm, that's where you hit a net ROI of about 100% profit. So that's realistically where you would double your money, the position size you entered with. It doesn't happen very often, though. I don't want you to think that's normal. You guys are funny. Yes, I only like to use 4-hour levels, Selvin. Trailing a stop loss, the way I do it is once I see 100% profit, then I will move my stop loss in profit. Usually, though, on my first or my second trim, I'll move my stop loss to entry. There's a lot of parameters that go into making that decision. For me, it really just depends on, is it has the trade gotten there quickly? Is price action aggressive? If price action's not aggressive, then I probably want to move my stop to entry sooner than later. Excuse me. If price action is aggressive, then I want to hold it. I want to leave that stop loss there where it originally is, because it's aggressive, there's a possibility it just simps back really quick and then does a big dump. And if that's the case, I want to stay in the trade. So I won't move my stop to entry until after my second trim, roughly around, I would say between 30 to 40 points or 30 to 40% in that realm. I'll move that stop loss to entry once I've taken that second trim, that second spot where I've skilled out. On days like this, I'm just trailing it by 150% because there are moves where it will pull back over 100%. So and I want to stay in it, but yeah, I'll look at the chart. I'll pick a spot that I like over here earlier when I was like, remember, I was going to pick this 4-hour level, guys. I was going to use that. And then I was like, no, because I see these 2 wicks right here prior, because that hadn't happened yet. It looked like this. And I said, no, I'm going to stop out above these wicks because it's clearly respected that level instead. And sure enough, I was saved. I mean, look at that. That is a difference of 25 to 29. That's a 4-point difference between me staying in this trade and realizing an extra, 150 points extra. 720 down to 630. An extra 107 points profit. I squeezed out another extra 107 points profit just by picking a spot on my chart, putting my stop loss there, letting it, having confidence, just being like, hey, stops me out, it stops me out. If it doesn't, I'll stay in it. It is what it is. Yes, trading looks easy after the fact, but nothing about it is easy. We're just talking about a well-known scammer. There's no reason to name him. The people who know him, unfortunately, know him, and the people that don't, you're blessed. You're truly blessed for not having interacted with that individual. Scum of the earth. Little man, little scum of the earth. Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't know anyone with a fake watch. That's a huge red flag to me. Man, some of you guys have very nosy questions. No, I do not live an expensive lifestyle. You might see this stuff over here, but I mean, relative to my income, it's not expensive. It's all relative at the end of the day. I'm very cautionary about keeping up with the Jones lifestyle. So I do my best to be really as frugal and cheap as possible. I tell my wife no to a lot of things. A lot of things I say no to because it's a waste of money. So very frugal. That's how you'll get ahead. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It matters how much you keep. But also there should be some signs of wealth, right? If someone's posting online that they make, like that guy used to post, he made $1 million a day almost every single day, but you're driving a $30,000 truck and you have a $900,000 house and you can't pay your employees, so they quit, and then they come and cry to me about it, telling me you're a scammer. Well, you're probably not making $1 million a day then if you can't pay someone $1,000 salary a month. Next major level. We don't want to try to bounce this, Andrew. Unfortunately, we can't. Unfortunately, we have to wait for the bounce to happen, and then we got to look for the retest. This is not, I'm trying to, I can't believe I don't have a knife in here. That's incredible. Really? Whatever. I'm trying to catch a falling knife at this point, okay? If we're trying to bounce this, we're trying to catch a falling knife, odds are we're going to get hurt. So I would just be staying away if I was you from any bounce setups. I'm going to trim again. I have 5 contracts left, guys. That's all I have left. 5 contracts left. 5 QQQ contracts left. Just to this is crazy. Just to give you an idea, though, those 5 contracts are worth right now $6,385. 5 QQQ contracts. 5. You could have bought 5 contracts with $900. You could have bought 5 contracts with $900, and that's now worth $6,385. These last 5 contracts, if I sell them right now, these are now $1,277 a contract. The last time I was in a trade this big on the live with everybody was when I was in Aspen, Colorado, and we got that Tesla trade for like 875%. You guys remember that? It's been a long time since we've seen a trade this big happen during the live. So this is 556 points profit. For anyone that got on the retest, this is 433 points profit. This is the next 4-hour level we're approaching currently, but 562 points profit right here. This is incredible. I don't even know what to do with this, honestly. I just don't think it's ever going to stop. Really bad day for the market. I was actually going to post like a milestone I made on my long-term portfolio today, figure-wise. and a new meta position I had opened in a custodial account. Like a meta position, it's not anymore, obviously, but a meta position I had opened broke 7 figures profits. And let's check. And oh, it's still up. It's up 1.2, but it was up 1.5 last night. Shit. Percentage wise, it's nothing crazy, but it was mainly because of that big rally. But obviously, it's wanting to give it back up here. Siddharth, I recommend for all new people, if it was me, I don't recommend you do anything, but if it was me, especially with how these firms are now, I would trade prop firms. I think it's best to start out on prop firms. There's nothing wrong with starting out on prop firms, at least giving it a shot. Don't think you're above a prop firm. Please, that's some of the biggest mistakes people make. Prop firms change some people's lives. They continually trade those even when they're successful. But you'll have a lot of people out there that'll make, a couple grand a month from a prop firm, right? And it costs a couple hundred just to buy the accounts. Like they'll have 5 accounts. They paid $500 for those 5 accounts, and they're making a couple grand a month from that. Like that's not bad. Now it's not some bougie, crazy Dubai lifestyle making $1 million a month, but we need to be realistic. Don't let social media ruin your reality. Your reality is your reality. Your reality. So, and don't pick a profit target and be like, oh man, if I could just make an extra 1,000 a month, day trading would make my life. No. Wipe that from your mind. Just say, man, if I could be a successful day trader, that would change my life. Remove a profit number from your head and just, you show up and you trade your system, right? And that's why I like it when people use me as an example. All right, I'm going to wait 10 more minutes. And I'm going to leave. I want to see if we can hit 600 points on the live. If we can hit 600 points, I'll say congratulations, and I'm going to go ahead and head out. This is as much as I would love to get y'all hoodies, I still have t-shirts that I bought for you guys, and people have not ordered them all. So I'm looking at some of you who said you wanted one and you didn't buy one. I have an entire box still of some smalls, mediums, larges, and extra larges of shirts people said they were going to buy and nobody bought. Yes, there are larges. So you can imagine my hesitation, especially with the hassle. Like I already have no time, and to learn how to use Shopify, buy a thermal printer, hook it up, buy the little receipt things, and then I had them on backwards, and I'm calling customer support because I'm an idiot and I had the receipts on backwards, so they're not printing, making the packages, taking it to the store. You know what I mean? Like, and again, I price the shirts to where I break even. It's not like I make, obviously I'm not trying to make $1 off of the shirts. It'd be a waste of time. Yeah, they're I'll repost it. I'll repost it in the general announcements for if there's someone's actually serious and wants one. There's no double XLs left. I know that because I only ordered like 8. And then for some reason that was the most popular size. Like everyone's double XL. I'm like, what, does everyone want a pump cover or something? I wear a double XL for a pump cover, not like it fits. It's bouncing off of 37. Like I said, I'll wait till 10:05. So in 9 more minutes, I'll stick around. I'll see if we can hit 600 points profit. $13.16 a contract. No, this is from my best friend, Blake. It's pretty sick, isn't it? Look at that. It's awesome. Jordan, tomorrow will more than likely, I can't really anticipate what tomorrow's going to do until I see today's close. Unfortunately, I have to see today's close. It would be premature to try to anticipate anything right now. I mean, but you're right. Yes, historically, when we have a really big move, usually the next day there's some consolidation. But no, there's no class tonight. But when there's a move this large, it's usually we'll see just a crazy recovery at some point, a crazy recovery. So let's say the market tries to bounce but consolidates. That would be best case scenario. If the market does a little bit of a bounce and then just consolidates the rest of the day, doesn't do anything in the pre-market, that's good. Because what that means is the next day, we're either looking for a real sharp recovery or a nasty continuation, one or the other. Usually, though, those are news driven. Usually they're news driven. Oh, yeah. I love pics, guys. You guys ever want to send me a pic of you with your shirt? I love that. You can post it in here. Man, I think you did great. 70% for your peak exit. I think that's great. You did a good job. Don't compare and contrast. Gas money, yes. Gas money. Where do I put my money? I put it back in the market or high yield savings, especially for taxes this year. Just high yield savings. Let it sit there. I don't really spend it. Love it. Nice. Love it. A Trump U.S. military strike on Iran. That would make sense. This would make a lot of sense if it was a geopolitical tension thing. Geopolitical news moves the markets very well. Very, very well. No, like the most expensive stuff I'll do, like we have a vacation coming up and I'm taking all my best friends, just paying for everything. That's like the most, I don't know the word. That's the most spending I'll do is usually when it pertains to stuff like that. Like buying my wife's dad, my father-in-law, buying him his truck, paying for my friends on vacation. These are like my best friends, basically my family. So things like that. That's what I love about doing this. Buying a car, that's cool. That's great. That's fun, right? Don't get me wrong, I'm a car guy, so I love that, but that shouldn't be like your why. I shouldn't be like, man, I worked so hard to buy this Lamborghini. Like, no, you got to be realistic at the end of the day. That's really fun and it's awesome. But to me, the real big part is like when you can take care of those around you because you want to. To me, that's like the number one. To me, in your head, you'll say, I made it. Like I actually made it. I'm here because you're, paying for another adult. Like that's a big deal. And it's selfish. Like you feel really good about it. It's definitely selfish, but it's like, the thing, there's no such thing as a non-selfish good deed or whatever. All right. I'm going to wait 5 more minutes. Same thesis as before. Realistically, we should hold below this order block. So see how it came up and retested it a bit. If it does try to come up again, I want to hold below this order block to see if we can continue to sell. All right. I have 5 contracts left. This is nothing crazy. So I'm going to leave my stop loss all the way up here. I'm just leaving it up there. I'm not going to move it again. It's 5 contracts. It doesn't matter. But because again, like I was saying up here, I just want to see how far it could sell. I just want to see. There's nothing wrong with letting it run. I have to risk the open P&L. If I'm willing to try to see more profit, I got to risk the profit. So I got to be willing to let it come back into some type of range. Because who knows, if it is geopolitical tension, this might start creeping back up just due to technicals. It might start creeping back up. Something else happens, boom, confirmation of some type of other news, boom, it dumps another 400 points. And that could be another $7,000 profit for me for these 5 contracts, right? Like I might as well just hold. Let's see what they can do. if you're trading with 10,000, how much would you normally make? I don't think there's any amount you would normally make. That's kind of hard to say. I think it's good maybe to go at the end of the month, do a net ROI of all your trades at the end of the month. You know, look at your risk to reward ratio. Hey, on average, I lost $100 a trade. And on average, I won $300 a trade. So you're making $300 per trade. So let's say you were entering with $1,000 position size per trade. Now you know, okay, my net ROI per trade is roughly 30%. And my net loss per trade is roughly 10%. And then you have some good values there. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to judge, though. Oh, SK, you need to get a portable router. Hotel Wi-Fi is terrible. Yeah. Whenever you trade at a hotel, also, it's just smart, by the way. It's just smart to just have a little bit of money in that account. Don't be trading with a super large account on hotel Wi-Fi just in case someone gets into your account and withdraw. You know what I mean? Like, you just never know. Because you can take the precautions, whatever it is, you know, the portable gateways or whatever they are, or the travel routers. You guys know what I'm talking about. They provide an added layer of security. You can trade on a VPN. A VPN will slow down your connection a little bit, though, but you can trade on a VPN. But I wouldn't be rolling up to a hotel Wi-Fi trading with my brokerage account with a bunch of money in it. Let's say I'm normally trading with $10,000 in my brokerage account, and now I'm trading on Wi-Fi, hotel Wi-Fi. I would legitimately remove 90% of that cash. I would withdraw it into a different account that's not touchable, and I'm not going to log into it on that Wi-Fi. I'm not trying to log into my bank on that Wi-Fi. Nothing that requires a password do I want to log into on that Wi-Fi. And I would legitimately knock it down to $1,000. So one, because you're on vacation, you're insured that you're not going to take a big win or a big loss because you only have $1,000. But two, just God forbid, in case something happened, it's not a bunch of money, right? It's not your whole brokerage account. So earlier, whenever I said the NASDAQ was down 350 points, now it's down 600 points. S&P was down 49 points. Now it's down 100 points. Dow was down, I forget what it was down, but now it's down 334 points. 2.5% negative on the day for the NASDAQ, 1.4% negative on the day for the S&P, which makes sense. The NASDAQ usually has more aggressive moves than the S&P 500, both up and down. Meta is finding support down here at its pre-market low. You guys see that? That's pretty cool to see. Finding support at that pre-market low. Really, really well. All right. All right, guys. I mean, I would love to sit here all day and well, I wouldn't, but I would love to see this hit 600 points. If it hits it, just consider myself. I'm going to trim some there. I'll sell 3 of my 5 contracts if we hit 600 points. All right. If we don't, all 5 of them will get sold right up there. 25,828. The 5 QQQ contracts I got left, they'll all be sold up there. All right. We hit a peak of 1327 a contract on QQQ. All right. 1327 a contract. So really, really, really beautiful day here on the live. You guys absolutely crushed it today. Wonderful trading today. You know, what is this currently? 590 points, 592 points profit currently for those in the trade. From the original entry, I can't even grab that other box. I don't know the break and retest. Break and retest folks are currently 466 points in profit. Just trying to let this thing keep going all day. I'll let it go all day. You guys have my parameters. You're aware of my trades. You know everything. You know how many contracts I have left. You know I've sold 95% of the position. Well, 99% of the position basically. Just truly letting these runners run just to see, just for fun. All right. I'll post this once it's done. I'll post this this trade and how it's played out. So I'm going to let this thing keep pushing down. It's going to look like a crapshoot, but I'll screenshot the chart on my left. It has less levels, the 4-hour chart. I'll screenshot that and send it just in case any of you guys are trying to watch for a move later this day. If any of you are trying to catch a bounce, again, I would wait for the bounce to confirm. Do not try to catch a falling knife. This is too aggressive. Are we going to get it here? While I'm yapping, are we going to get 600 points? Oh, did we get 600? I'm so confused. I guess we did. It says 600 right there. Awesome. I was yapping for nothing. Cool. Well, I should have trimmed some then. When the contracts lost value, I'll just wait for a new low. But yeah, we'll just let this rock and roll. I don't have any other trades as of now. There's nothing I have on watch. If I see the market start to bounce and start to form a good solid support range, if there is a swing trade, I will call it out. I'll post it. I'll call it out. I'll do the tag at everybody thing so everyone sees it. But I'll just put the contracts I'm buying. I'll put the expiration date. Like, you'll have every detail you need if I see it happening and if I take it. All right. I'm not going to take anything without letting you know. So, but as long as the notifications on Circle are allowed on your phone, you'll get it, because I'll do the at everyone. So if you're in this chat room, it will alert you. So you'll know. All right. So you don't have to like stare at your phone or anything. But that'll only be if we start forming a support. I need to see support confirm first, and then I'm looking for a break and retest. So you'll have time to enter. It's not like it's going to be like, here's the post, I'm already in the trade. It's going to be where you have time to enter. All right. All right, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today. Thank you for the few of you guys that actually ended up sticking around this whole time. Wonderful trading day today. This was very awesome to see happen on the live. The gameplay, the game plan, the layouts, the retest entries, the holds of the resistance spots the whole way down. I think the education is what was key today. The education was key. If you made money today, great. But I'm just really happy you guys got to watch this play out in real time with my real-time education and guidance on the way down. All right. So 1% better every single day. You guys keep crushing it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. Peace out, everybody. Have a good one.